It's Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
And over in Connecticut, I have Muffler Mike Kostiuk. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Busy week, guys. I know I've been to a lot of games this past weekend. A lot of miles on the car, I'm telling you. But seen some great lacrosse. Seen some MSL. Seen some Senior B. Seen a lot of stuff going on. Seen some Junior A. Just to keep myself busy. And, like the week isn't busy enough already. But it's some great stuff, man. And really, I was really enthused to see a lot of people who are really, really thankful for what we're doing. And it's our pleasure, as always. It's our privilege to do this for you guys. Had a chance to talk with Justin Bragg's dad. Had a chance to talk to Matt and Josh Gilroy's dad, and a few others, and Deacon Knott's parents. It was awesome, and such great people, such great families, and such great players. I'm telling you, it really is a pleasure to go to all the arenas and see everybody. But just before we get rolling, of course, as always for the network, just want to remind everybody that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also Twitch. And you can catch all the action on EOPsports.com. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons, and always share. Many shows for many folks. Have a look at our list of shows. There is something for everybody on every single day. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the podcasts and all the major podcasting companies, which include Amazon, iTunes, Google, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and so much more. And remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting EOPsports.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. And while you're there, please subscribe to our newsletter. Also, you can catch any of these shows on the EOP YouTube page at EOP Sports. Or if you're looking for anything in our stuff in particular, you can go to the All Lacrosse All the Time YouTube page, and you can catch anything you need there. Our entire library, retro games, anything you want. Interviews, press conferences, retro stuff of any sort. Just a couple of bits of news. Just a reminder that the McDougall fundraising celebrity tournament is coming up. Not long from now, guys, July 6, 2024. That's just around the corner. Third annual fundraiser. Help the kids reach their full potential. You've got the Junior A game at 3 p.m., the celebrity game over at 6 p.m. Like I've said for weeks now, you'll want to check out that celebrity game, if nothing else, because there's always a whole list of celebrities from all different sports that come and join and have a whole lot of fun playing lacrosse and having a great old time doing it. There's a silent auction there that runs from 4 till 10 p.m. Lots of great stuff. A beer garden and live music as well. $10, I believe, is the fee. It's worth your time. I mean, not a whole lot of money for a whole lot of fun. And you're going to see a lot of people that you would know, see a lot of people that you know of, and meet up and talk with some of us. It will be a lot of fun. Also, a reminder for the Philly folks, that's just the 2 weekends after that is Fan Cup in Philadelphia, July 20th. It will be in a rink in New Jersey, but over in Cherry Hills where we will be terrorizing that particular parking lot. And remember, win or lose, we drink the booze. Absolutely a motto and a mantra. I want to remind everybody about the Gales have their picnic in the park coming up on Saturday, July 27th at 1 till 4. A nice family fun event. Getting ready for the provincial games and showing off the Gales spirit. The Tyrone Community Center, located at 2710 or 2716 Concession Road 7, for face painting, jumping castles, treats, and much, much more. Mike, you're into the jumping castles, aren't you? Yeah, I'm more for the treats. I'll go there. I'll be searching out the beer garden, which is probably 3 blocks down the street at the neighborhood pub, but that's okay.
Right.
Again, come see a lot of the Gales alumni and friends and family there. It's a good time. Lacrosse and Bears have their fully inclusive day camps coming up. All abilities and all possibility day camps designed to allow anyone who chooses to learn, laugh, and play. Camps are designed that everyone who comes will participate the way they need. Ages 5 and up, 9 till 3 p.m. with options for early drop-off and late pickup. The weeks are July 2nd to 5th, August 6th to 9th, and August 26th to 30th. That is in Alberta, but I know that they're working on camps all through Canada. So to register, email scott@lacrossingbarriers.org. And if you need any information at that same email address, Scott will get back to you. Fantastic organization, doing fantastic work. The kids and the older guys are just absolutely amazing and are so capable of doing so much. It is so much fun to be around and see these guys. So please give that a thought. It is the beginning of Indigenous Month here in Canada. And of course, the best way to kick off Indigenous Month would be the showing of the rules of lacrosse for men who break them, played by Joanne Storkin. And it was over at the Brantford Collegiate Institute. Now, Gail Ayers, one of the Paulus clan, sent me this picture. And of course, it was a big thank you from Joanne. Thanks to the Grand Erie District School Board for opening the celebration of National Indigenous History Month with our film, The Rules of Lacrosse, at the Woodland Cultural Center in the city of Brantford. So glad the guests of honor, the Paulus family of the Six Nations of the Grand River, were able to attend and be recognized for their contributions, not only to lacrosse, but for the entire community. Now, if I have this correct, from left to right, you have David Anderson, who is the oldest grandson of Gaylord, plays lacrosse for Yale, and just started today playing for the Coburg Cougars. Beside him, Joanna Roberto, Director of Education with the GEDSB. Beside her, Brody Bombury, great nephew. Gail Ayers, his sister. Michelle Anderson, oldest daughter. Jackie Paulus, his sister. Maggie Paulus Lynn's niece. And in the front, you have Audrey Paulus Bombury, his sister. And at the very and continually thanks for the support from the Paulus family. So fantastic, guys. What a great way to kick off Indigenous Awareness and History and Heritage Month here in Canada. And I made sure I put on my my Indigenous cap for this evening. By the way, every day this month, just like when I do in November for Native American History Month, there will be a clip up every day on our Facebook page, as well as shared throughout all the other pages about Native history with the lacrosse game and trying to bridge the gap of understanding between Native and non-Native, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, and trying to make everything work well. And the best way, of course, is information. And trying again. And every day this month, there will be a different small clip, a couple of minutes long, little YouTube video of something of a different tribe and a different aspect. So we have some people with us, guys. Eduardo.
Eduardo.
And today he's in Jacksonville. We have Danny Berry Sports Highlights. Good to have you with us. Glad you could make it to the show. Appreciate your support. And Adam Cease. What's up, guys? Love the show. Just got into Wings Lacrosse last year. Went to 4 games. Hope to see more next year. Man,
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with the show. We really appreciate your patronage. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to fire away. We will do our very best to answer them. And if we can't, we'll find the answers from somewhere. Now we have a bit of news from Rushland, eh, Shawn?
Yeah, some big news. Jimmy Quinlan resigned. I think even bigger, Derek Keenan. His contract was going to be up this year, actually, and not only going to be back as GM, he's going to be back behind the bench again with Jimmy Quinlan. So that's going to be a huge boost. And of course, Jeremy Tavalli's back as their defensive coordinator. So their coaching staff all going to be back for next season.
That's amazing. And once, of course, that group got together, that's when the Rush turned the corner. So look for that right from the beginning. And the evil geniuses at the draft. I know that something is cooking.
And that was the big thing this past season after kind of Derek Keenan's note last year saying, missing the playoffs is unacceptable. There was questions. Okay, is he or isn't he going to be back?
Yeah,
he's back
with a vengeance.
Yeah, and because I think he he knows what he's building now. He likes what he's building. He likes what he sees, and look out.
Remember, they were just a couple of goals away from beating Toronto and making it in the playoffs. So, for all intents and purposes, they should have been there.
Yeah.
Anyways, Dave, thank you for joining us as always. Pleasure to have you with us. See, you survived Delco Day. A lot of guys walking around with a little bit of a wooziness today just because of too much fun over at Delco. But I'm sure they had a great old time getting to that state. So a few little notes. Trade in the NLL. This is odd. This doesn't usually happen this time of the year. But the Desert Dogs received Justin Getty and the 2025 first-round pick, which is via Albany. And the Firewolves receive the 2026 fourth-round pick and the 2027 first-round pick. Interesting. Well, that was one of the things they had to address, right? Was a bit of goaltending. I think Kells can't do it all on his own. I'm curious, what do they do with Joel Watson?
Yeah, it could be interesting. Could be a battle for number one spot too between Kells and Getty. You would think.
I'm thinking it'd be a battle between all three. Really, I think that job's up for grabs.
Probably, yeah. I think it's wide open. So.
But anyway, you look at it, you have youth and goalie. They're all young goalies. So whoever gets it can build their career from that starting point. And if Sean Williams is working on his defensive stuff, he'll have a solid defense in front of him, whomever it is. And that's a good start. A few trades to get to. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do we know where Kells and Watson are playing summer ball? I know Getty's in Nanaimo.
So far, I haven't seen them here at all. So I imagine it'll be west somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen any WLA yet.
Watson was with Maple Ridge last year, I think, later in the season.
I'm not sure if he's still with them or not, but I know he's not starting.
Yeah, I don't recall him on any score sheets so far, but
yeah, I know Maple Ridge has only had a couple of games so far. So,
but if you want a plethora of goaltenders, you need to look no further than to the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, who have I think 5 somewhere. And I keep seeing the same name.
Hey, wait, isn't one of those 5
the starter? Zach Higgins.
Yeah. Yes.
With 2 wins under his belt. Sorry, Pat. We had a few trades. One with the Lakers and Oakville, where Oakville received Matt Wright and Thomas Whitty, and Rob Hellier goes on over to the Lakers. It's an interesting one. The Lakers are trying to bolster up too and match up with what the Six Nations Chiefs have done. You had Owen Sound receive Stephen Portelli from Brampton for a 2026 fifth-round pick. Now, this is interesting. The Oakville Toronto Rock are looking more like the Toronto Rock by grabbing a number of the guys from the Oakville Buzz, which is the junior A team, which included Phil Mazuka, Marley Angus, John Gagliardi, Jack Follows, and Zach Kearney, 3 of which are on the Toronto Rock regular squad. So Oakville is bolstering up as well. Now, interestingly enough, this was an interesting head-scratcher because a number of people hadn't realized that Oakville had the rights to Eli McLaughlin and now traded them to Six Nations in return for Dalton Solver and a 2025 third-round pick. Now, the reason why I find that interesting is for years, Jamie has used the Oakville Rock, whether it was in OSL or in MSL, more as a tryout for some players. To see if they would, mesh with the coaching and mesh with the other players. And before you know it, poof, they're on the Toronto Rock squad. Does that mean that Dalton Solver could be one of those guys who are coming this way to Toronto? Because I've watched it. I watched it with Mitch DeSnew. I watched it with the Nobles. I watched it with a number of players that they played on the Oakville Rock. And before you knew it, They were in Toronto. Mind you, the Oakville Rock also have Andrew Q, also have Ryan Lanchbury, a number of other guys. So while we're thinking about Six Nations and while we're thinking about Peterborough, let's not count out Oakville. They have their first game tomorrow. When we get into MSL stuff, we'll get into that. But their first game is tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see how that squad works, and be a lot of familiar faces, like always, which will also lead me when I discuss OSL, what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, if I had to answer your question, I'd say yes, that he might be on the move. I mean, he's been in the league a couple of years now and just hasn't had a chance to really break through and get a kind of a regular playing slot with Buffalo. And you have to think, after the seasons that Cam Wires and Zach Belter had, who were drafted, a couple of years behind Silver, that maybe they're just gonna
Let him go.
Decide, to go with the youngsters and just ride them out. And
right.
Yeah, I can see the other point of the coin too. You look at the Toronto roster up and down. Where do you fit him in?
He wants to go inside anywhere. Simple as that.
So that's
I am sick and tired. Nobody wants to go inside.
Coach Groob over there.
I've had it. I have put up with it for years now, and I have gone hoarse, screaming, "Go inside!" Yeah, I'm just, they're not listening. So it's time to get some guys who will go inside.
That's all right. That's all right, Sean. We're gonna see a Dalton Silver jersey hanging on the door. Toronto Rock. He's gonna have a custom made this week and ship to him before he even gets moved.
Yeah. We already have the campaign posters up there. It's right beside my Muffler Mike fan club stuff that's sitting off to the side because Sean hasn't got the tractors in place again. One harvest and everything's out of place,
Yeah. Seeding time now, so
it'll be another couple of weeks. I'm sorry, Mike. You're gonna have to stay put.
Sorry, Mike. You have to wait.
We're gonna get that summer tour going. Don't worry. Once everything is all set. So get your media guides out, folks. He's coming in.
No, I'm liking the state of perpetual postponement.
Well, hey, we can dream. But yeah, I will get all over that Dalton Silver thing. If he wants to go inside, he's happy. I'm already part with the Lintner fan club for that one. So of course, what did they do in the first game of the semifinals? Scratch Lintner. Can't have somebody go inside, right? And then maybe for 60 minutes, not just 30. Just a thought. But hey, onward we go. Junior A, Sean. Why don't we start out west? And,
sure, we can start.
See how it all turned out over there.
Sounds good. How we start with BC and we'll move our way east.
Okay.
We start Tuesday with Burnaby. They picked up a 16-14 high-scoring affair against New Westminster. Next day, Burnaby was right back at it again. This time they picked up a 9-7 win over Langley. Quitlam just kind of running away with everything. They defeated Langley on Thursday night, 14-4. Friday, we saw Port Coquitlam defeat Burnaby 9-4.
Dave will have to get you a T-shirt.
We'll send you the membership card. Where was it now? Friday, Port Coquitlam was over Burnaby 9-4. Here's the big one. Saturday, June 1st. Coquitlam 10. Nanaimo 0.
Oh, man.
Jack Kask for Coquitlam went 14 for 14 in goal.
Wow.
Last
one I'd heard of was when Craig Wendy was playing Junior A, and he won. I think it was 13-0 with the Kitchener squad. But that's the last time I heard of a shutout anywhere. So.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years too. I remember one with Lane Reshka when he was with the SWAT of quite a few years back too. But it's been a while. The other game on Saturday actually was a close one. New Westminster defeated Victoria 10-9. And then just today, we have a final. Port Coquitlam defeated Nanaimo 12-6, and currently ongoing, Victoria is leading Langley 3-2. Coming up this week, Tuesday we have Port Coquitlam against New Westminster. Wednesday, Victoria against Coquitlam. It's interesting to see that anyone can get by that tough Coquitlam squad. Also Wednesday, New West against Burnaby. Thursday, Delta against Langley. Friday, New West against Coquitlam. Then, oh man, busy weekend. 3 games on Saturday. Langley against Nanaimo, Coquitlam against Victoria, and Port Coquitlam against Delta. And we wrap up Sunday, Nanaimo against Burnaby. So again, we look at the standings. Coquitlam 5-1 in first. Port Coquitlam right behind them, along with Nanaimo actually 5-2. Both those squads. Burnaby 4-3. Victoria, Burnaby 4-3. Victoria 3-4. New Westminster 2-4. Delta 1-3, and then Langley still looking for their first win at 0-6. Then heading over to Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League in Alberta. I believe we left off. We didn't have scores from last Sunday's game, but we had the Edmonton Miners. They're over the Saskatchewan SWAT 6-4. The Okotoks Raiders took out the Calgary Mounties 11-7. Then yesterday, we saw the Raiders defeat the SWAT 10-5. We had the Mounties defeat the Miners 14-8, and we have 2 games that are kind of ongoing here. I'll see if they updated the score yet. Just give me 1 second. We do have one final from this afternoon. The Calgary Mounties defeated the SWAT 12-7, and we're still waiting on a final score between the Raiders and the Miners. So those standings are looking like this. Edmonton Miners continue to be the front runners at 5-1. Mounties second at 4-3. Interesting enough, the Raiders are sitting at 3-1. So they've only played 4 games, while others have played 6 and 7. So they're going to have kind of a long stretch ahead here in the back end of the season. And then the Saskatchewan SWAT are at 0-7.
Right. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you for noticing. Yes, I'm down about 50. I have changed a whole lot of things around and a whole lot of activity. And since playing rec league, well, keep doing a rec league. Keep doing a rec league because that's a big help. But in Ontario Junior, we had a busy week also, and Toronto Beaches is lighting it up. They're 4-0 right now, and they started out on Monday beating Peterborough 15-7. Burlington, our defending Minto Cup champions, are having a little bit of a tough time. Whitby beat them 9-5 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Brampton beat St. Catharines, and Kitchener beats Six Nations, which is interesting. Kitchener's not had the greatest of starts, and Six Nations was looking really, really strong. And this is a little bit of a shocker at a 10-5 Kitchener victory. But hey, every week, something. Where I get a little concerned is, of course, with the Minto things. It's since St. Catharines this year. I don't know if St. Catharines, we'll look at the standings in a minute, have a win. And, being the host, you get the 4th spot. So there are a lot of quality teams. I've always been a little bit with that home team gets their spot. So anyways, Thursday, St. Catharines lost again, this time to the Beaches, 10-8. Brampton beat the Oakville Buzz 11-9. Moving on over to Friday, Six Nations, another loss. This time in the rematch from the bread and cheese day, Burlington beat them 9-8. Close games with these teams. I believe it was 8-6 the last time they met, or 7-5. 9-8 Burlington beat them in Burlington this time. 8-6 Mimico beat the Orangeville Northmen. Mimico is having a great year. They're after a 4-0 start as well. And Whitby beat Kitchener 11-5. Moving on over to the weekend. And, of course, today we had Orangeville beating St. Catharines, 14-8. Kitchener beat Six Nations again. Another one that makes me scratch my head. But and 12-9 Oakville over Burlington. So if we want to look at the standings, we have the Beaches and Mimico at 4-0 each at the top. Orangeville is sitting there with 3 wins and 2 losses with Brampton. Six Nations is now at 3-3 from that great start to a real tough week. Whitby is at 2-3, Oakville at 2-2, Burlington at 2-4, Kitchener at 2-3. St. Catharines is at 1-5. Again, my point. And Peterborough is at 0-2. They don't play very much over there. Interesting the way these schedules work. You watch Peterborough have 6 games 1 week coming up. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Going to Ontario Series Lacrosse, Senior B, and I got a chance to see a few really great games this weekend, I'm telling you. Friday night, I was over in Brooklyn at the Pay What You Can game. Now, what a great idea by the Brooklyn board in trying to get more people. Kids got in for free. Adults got in for whatever they could afford to pay, and donations were accepted. And, they had a pretty decent crowd, especially for Senior B, which doesn't get a whole lot of people. There was quite a few people, and they were in for a treat. The Clearview Crushers were in town to play the Brooklyn Merchants. And I tell you, I knew Clearview was a decent team. I didn't think they were this good a team. They had Brooklyn on the ropes for 2 solid periods. It was 5-3 after the first period. It was 12-8 after the second period. Brooklyn had changed goalies midway through from Lucas Coote to Deacon Knott. And, Deke played great. And he was a big reason why. Come third period, I was actually beside his parents talking with his dad. And we had mentioned, for the way Brooklyn was playing the first 2 periods, to be only down 4 goals, all they had to do was actually play the way they could up to potential. And sure enough, as soon as they walked out on the floor, they had a different swagger among them. And you knew something different was about. And they came out, and in the first 5 minutes, I think they got a power play goal, scored again. Before you knew it, they outscored the Crushers 7-2. The only lead they had of the night came with 34 seconds left, and that was a game-winning goal. A beauty by Darren Elliott off a Christian Watts pass from behind the net, and it was definitely not a cheapie. But a great game. 15-14 was your final. Man, I'm telling you, for the couple of bucks that it cost you to go to a Senior B game, it is well worth it. And I'm telling you, these guys play their hearts out. The next day, we had Owen Sound hosting Six Nations, and you had another barn burner game. Six Nations has been the cock of the walk so far. Them and Brooklyn are both sitting at, I believe, now 7-1 each. The Six Nations Rivermen beat the North Stars 10-8. But a credit to the North Stars, they were no more down than 3 goals at any given point. Most of the time down by 1. Only come the third period did Six Nations pull away by a couple of goals, but the fight didn't stop with the North Stars. So they are for real, and they are going to get a lot stronger as this season comes about. The game that I was at last night was the Ennismore James gang visiting the Hamilton Bengals. Interestingly enough, the Hamilton Bengals, if you remember, was the old Oakville Rock that Jamie had sold and moved, and they had moved over to Hamilton and played at the Dave Andrechuk Mountain Community Center. And it was a tight game, a very low-scoring game, a defensive struggle, if you will. 6-2 was your final. In fact, it was 2-1 after 1, 3-1 after 2, and it looked like it was going to stay 3-1 until the last couple of minutes of the game when 4 goals went in, 3 for Hamilton and 1 for the James gang, and your final was 6-2. However, that's not the story of this game. The story of this game was Andrew Kidd in net for Ennismore. He made 71 saves in this game. 71 in a losing effort. Most times you give up 6 goals and you're a winner, but
and it's funny you mentioned that. If you want to know why Albany traded Justin Getty, Andrew Kidd is the answer. They drafted him last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there you go.
that probably just explained this trade with Las Vegas. So,
and I'm telling you, you have Andrew Kidd and you have Jameson. You have a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
as your goaltending duo. And Kidd is young. He is only going to get stronger and bigger and better. And he looked great. He made some just phenomenal saves on some very skilled shooters on the Ennismore, on the Hamilton group. And Ennismore, I was talking with a couple of the players after the game, and very positive. You know, the team hasn't had a whole lot of practices. They are still young, and they are gelling. They're getting more floor time now, and they are gelling a lot more. Their defense looks good. Their offense, though they did not get a lot of goals, did have a number of opportunities, and a hair here, a whisker there, and a few more would have gone in. I really like the group, and I like the attitude of the group. And I think somewhere down the line this season, we're going to be talking about how they've come from here to here. And, I don't think that's going to be too far in our future. So kudos to them and the effort that they put in. There was one more game, and that was this evening. And Owen Sound hosted the Brooklyn Merchants. And, it was great through the first period. In fact, Owen Sound and Brooklyn were tied after that 4-4. Unfortunately, that was the end of the scoring for Owen Sound. Brooklyn put it into another gear and scored 7 in a row. They wound up winning 11-4, and that's all she wrote. Interesting game, though, because Owen Sound matched up play for play, player for player for one. And then that's when experience comes in. The Brooklyn team has been together. A number of those guys actually went to Prague with me on the Gales squad. So they are a seasoned group. And they will be talking about winning this thing. It's them and Six Nations right now, neck and neck. And I'm waiting for that to come about. And that'll be a game worth watching wherever it will be. Looking at upcoming games. Friday, you have Ennismore against Brooklyn in Brooklyn. Saturday, you have a couple of games. Owen Sound is playing Hamilton in Hamilton. And you have the Clearview Crushers playing Six Nations in Six Nations. That's another game that's worth watching. And on the Sunday, there's a pair of games. Clearview is in Owen Sound, and Six Nations is in Ennismore. So a number of games. Take a look. I'll be in Clarington, actually. I have to, for the Gales alumni game and then the Gales Junior B game, I am doing the anthems for them as well. So if you're anywhere in the Clarington area, please come by the Rickard Arena. And I believe it's a 7 o'clock Junior B game. So, and that takes care of Ontario Series Lacrosse. That brings us over to the WLA and MSL. We're going to start with WLA, guys. And, of course, away we go. Last Sunday, I believe, with the Shamrocks and Burrards, they were just finishing when we got off the air.
Let me just get to that one here. Just give me 1 second.
It was a pitcher's duel. It was a 6-5 final.
Yeah, I mean, 6-5. Shamrocks win. You want to talk about a defensive duel there? It was. First star was Crystal Regulari. He got the start for the Shamrocks, made 35 saves. It was really kind of back and forth. It was kind of a 4-goal run by the Shamrocks in the third period that kind of gave them that 2-goal lead. Marcus Cleric scored at 11:03 on the power play in the third. That kind of got the Birds back within one, but just couldn't find that equalizer. And again, and first star was like regularity. Brandon Humphrey, Maple Ridge's goaltender, made 40 saves in the loss. So I mean, both goaltenders really had a great game. It's just one bounce.
Absolutely. All right, we move over to the Wednesday game and the Salmon Bellies and the Thunder. And, you look at it on the sheet and you figure this is going to be a close game. However.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, let's face it, Langley's going through a bit of a rebuild here. They don't have the usual like Dane Dobies, Curtis Dixons. I believe Robert Church was back in the lineup for this game, but really didn't have much of an effect on the end score. Ashton Leclerc got the start for the Salmon Bellies, made 30 saves in the win, and really, other than 2 goals in the second period, he was flawless. And Westminster got out to a 6-0 lead, and let's call a spade. When you give up a 6-point lead, it's pretty tough to come back from that. I mean, the lone goal scores, Kostiuk for Langley and Nathan Lamb. Big night for Will Malcolm, 9 points, 3 goals, and 6 assists. For New West, Logan Schuss had 2 goals and 3 assists, 4 assists for Ryan Martell. So a big night for their big players, really.
Right. All right, let's move on over to Friday night. And my Shamrocks were playing the Adanacs. God, I'm giddy this week, I'm telling you. What a great week. And the Shamrocks, oh my, just giddy, I'm telling you.
I mean, they got Marshall King back in the lineup, and man, did he make an impact. Him and his brother. Once you get the King brothers going, there's no stopping them, I guess. Marshall had 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points. Jesse had 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points. So they were just on fire. Yeah, I mean, through the first period, Shamrocks were up 4-1. Next, kind of made it a game. Adam Noakes got a pair of goals to start off the second period to get him back within 1. But again, the Shamrocks just kind of traded goals with them. Annex did get back within 1 kind of late in the second period. But yeah, the story of that game was the King brothers and how much they just took over.
Right. All right, we had a second game that night. We had the Lakers and the Thunder. And how did we do there, Mike?
Yeah, so Burnaby came away with an 11-9 win against Langley. Langley's still looking for their first victory. So Burnaby got hat tricks from 3 different players: Thomas Vella, Ben McDonald, and Jacob Dunbar in the win. Bobby Kidd the third got an empty net goal, along with 2 assists. For Langley, big game from Chase Scanlon, 5 goals and an assist. Tristan Kirkham, 2 and 2. Kozevnikov had a goal and an assist. Aiden Walsh, 44 saves in net for the Thunder in the losing effort. But yeah, Burnaby is looking pretty solid. Like they might make some waves this year.
Right. Okay, that brings us to our next game, which was Saturday night. Was the Timbermen and the Berards in another pitcher's duel.
Yeah, and the Berards lost another one, 6-5.
Always 1-goal games that you lose now.
Yeah, it's like they're right on the edge, but they just can't break through. But I mean, to be fair, who was in goal for the Birds that night? Because he faced a lot of rubber. Yeah, Brandon Humphrey again. He faced a ton of rubber. He made 50 of 56, 50 saves on 56 shots. So he, to his credit, I mean, in a losing cause,
On that, yeah.
No, he couldn't. But first star was actually Justin Getty, as we've been talking. He had a solid night, 37 saves in the win. Timmerman, Taggart Clark, he's been having an outstanding summer to start here. 2 goals, 2 assists, goal and an assist from Zach Mans, a pair of goals by Lucas Olson for the Timbermen. For the Burrards, Clark's been having actually a really good games the last couple of games, even though they're losing by 1. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Garrett Winter had a goal and an assist, and Dylan McIntosh a goal and an assist.
Alrighty. And our last game before, well, of course, this evening's couple of games is the Adanacs and the Lakers. And, well, the Lakers pulled this one out, eh, Mike?
Yeah, another close win, 12-10. Some of the heroes from the night before kept up their red hot status. Thomas Vella had 2 goals and 6 assists for 8 points. Ben McDonald, 4 goals and 2 assists. Ben Stewart had a hat trick and an assist. Jacob Dunbar, a goal and 4 assists. Burnaby used a late 4-goal run in the third, outscoring Coquitlam 6-2, I believe. 6-3 to take the win. For Coquitlam, Clark Walter, 2 goals and an assist. Keen Moon, 2 and 2. Tyler Kirkby, 2 and 2. Eric Turner had a goal and an assist. Andrew Gallant, 42 saves in the losing effort.
Right.
So, and actually, Burnaby clinched the first series of any team so far.
Wow.
By beating Coquitlam because they beat Coquitlam last week in Burnaby, and now they've won the second of 3 meetings. So they have a tiebreaker over Coquitlam already 2 weeks into the season.
All right, we have 2 games that are going to be starting in the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. We got the Burrards against the Thunder and the Timbermen against the Shamrocks over in Victoria.
That's actually in Nanaimo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if you're looking at that website, the team on top is the home team for some odd reason.
Very strange. Very strange. Okay, there it is. Before we hit the major series, let's give an ad or two, shall we? I'm going to go with the Sherry tickets.
Great moments don't just happen, they happen with you in the crowd. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more with Sherry'sTickets.com and get the tickets you want. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. For that next great moment, save 10% by using the promo code EOP10. Great moments start at Sherry'sTickets.com.
And just before we get over to Major Series Lacrosse, they have a pretty big week coming up in WLA this week, don't they, guys?
Yeah, another 5 games, I believe.
Yeah, you got the Burrards at the Thunder.
Yeah.
Adanacs at the Bellies. Lakers at the Shamrocks. Timbermen at the Adanacs over on Saturday. Sunday, you have the Salmon Bellies at the Burrards. So quite a busy week.
Been a busy schedule in general to start this season, honestly.
Yeah, I find these things pretty front packed. Of course, unless you're doing major series, and it's pitter patter. But to get on with the major series one, first game of this week was on Wednesday, and it was the first game for Brooklyn and the second game for the Owen Sound North Stars, who were trying to recover from the 15-4 drubbing that they took to the Six Nations Chiefs the week earlier. And Zach Higgins was in net for the Brooklyn Lacrosse squad there, and well, it was a quite the slobber knocker. The big scorer in this one, of course, was Austin Shanks. He had 5 goals and 2 assists en route to the 16-11 victory for Brooklyn, in which it really wasn't in any doubt. It was a big third period that really put this across, and it was power play goal after power play goal after power play goal after power play goal that got it on. In other words, Owen Sound needs to stay out of the box. But overall, I thought Owen Sound played a pretty strong game compared to what they put forth on their first game. So the trajectory was facing upward. Now, the second game of this little stretch saw the rematch, and that was yesterday. Or sorry, that was today. Oh, yesterday. My apologies. For Brooklyn and Owen Sound. This time it was in Owen Sound. A little bit lower scoring. It was 10-5. Again, Austin Shanks had a big day. I think 2 goals, 4 assists in this one. But the big thing here was it was 1-1 after the first. It was 5-4 after the second, and then the collapse. Owen Sound has that one period where they just cannot get anything done. And this particular one was the third, in which it was 5-1. In fact, it was a 6-goal run, including the 1 goal in the period previous, which gave Brooklyn the lead at 6-5. And here you go. Brock Haley, Nick Tchaikovsky, shorthanded in transition. Zach Kerrigan, shorthanded. Then Christian Watson, Graydon Hogg to finish off the Brooklyn scoring. Jake Esperetti got a shorthanded goal with 1:41 left for Owen Sound. But at that point, it was way too little, way too late. 10-5 was your final. And, if they can put together 60 minutes, Owen Sound's in business. But they just seem to get gassed. And they have that one gaff for 10 or 12 minutes of a period, and that will kill them every single time. It has to this point. Owen Sound is sitting at 0-3 right now, whereas Brooklyn is now 2-0. Our goaltender of record was Zach Higgins again. Sorry, Pat. But if you look at the lineup that Brooklyn has put together, you've got, we talked about Christian Watts from playing with the Merchants, but Austin Shanks, Matt Hossack, Luke Keenan, Liam Osborne, Zach Kerrigan, Parker Pfeiffer is on there, Nick Ferris is on there, Nick Tchaikovsky. They put together a pretty big squad, and a number of the players that have been signed also haven't yet played. The Colton Watkinsons and guys like that who are signed to play for them as well. So I wouldn't sleep on this squad. There is we've talked about the haves and the have-nots of major series in which Brooklyn has been part of the lower echelon for the last couple of years with Coburg, Brampton, Owen Sound now being feeders for the now Oakville as well as Six Nations and Peterborough. But I would put Brooklyn on the upper part of that right now. And with these other guys coming in, remember that if it's not Zach Higgins, it's Riley Hutchcraft. So, both A goalies. So it's interesting. Hopefully we get, Coburg. They started looking good last year. If they can gel, especially being a younger squad, further down the season, that might be a big plus. Now, they played tonight over in Coburg, and they met up with the Brampton Excelsiors for their opening game of the year. And, Brampton was actually up after the first period, 3-2, and then it changed. Brampton actually got up 5-2. A couple of minutes, halfway through the second, on goals by J.P. Ward and Lucas Ferreira. But then came the onslaught. A 7-goal run by Coburg, including a shorthanded goal by Scott Dominey on a long lead pass from Stephen Orleman. And away we went. The big scorer in this game, Tyler Hendricks, Toronto Rock player for Coburg. He had a hat trick. He was part of the turnaround. He had 2 in a row to start the run, then dominate. And the entire third period was Aaron Woods, Gareth Hay, Aaron Woods again, Stone Jacobs from Aaron Woods. And it was all she wrote. By the way, 2 of those goals were shorthanded goals as well. So special teams are either bolstering or killing these squads. And your final score was 9-6 in favor of Coburg for their first win of the year. Upcoming this week in Major Series Lacrosse, you have Peterborough over in Oakville. That's going to be a heck of a game tomorrow night at the Rock Athletic Center. Six Nations against Brooklyn on Wednesday night, another slobber knocker, and that'll be at the Iroquois Park Sports Complex in Brooklyn. Thursday, Peterborough heads over to Brampton. I will be at that game. On the weekend, Brampton heads over to Owen Sound on Saturday, and Sunday, Brooklyn goes over to Coburg for a evening tilt, a 6 o'clock start at the Coburg Community Center. Bring a coat. That place is always cold. Like a meat locker in there. Beautiful beaches all the way around all day long, and then turn blue over there. I haven't figured that one out yet. Well, yeah, there's ice next door. But I've been to other places that have ice, and it doesn't mean that the whole building has to be in deep freeze. But that covers MSL for this week. And just before we head to our main event, which is the PLL and the opening weekend there, let's have a listen to Philly Sports Trips.
If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. If you want to travel with the pros, then go to phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips features premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, the Philadelphia sports fan. Philly Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights for Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and even the Union. They even offer day trips for more local games. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2024 season, including the Brazil trip week 1. Jump on it now before you lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com and don't miss the next great Philly sports moment.
And there you have it. Now, just before we get into our PLL games, our PLL, here it comes, guys. Big week, guys. Shawn and I at 4-0. Mike and Eduardo at 2-2. And Pat, 1-3. Going with those water dogs.
Mike hit 500.
That's it. Mike hit 500. You were running total from the NL ones too, Mike.
No, I don't include that because I'd still be 1 game under.
Hopefully enough, it's all 4 game weeks. So unless you count the All-Star game. Anyways, we had 4 really great games to start. It was over in Albany this week, which meant that the New York Atlas were the home squad and they played twice. Now, the first game of the weekend that opened everything up was a repeat of the finals from last year. And, of course, that was the Utah Archers against the Philadelphia Water Dogs. And I'm telling you guys, what a game to start the PLL season. A hot day in Albany with a great opening weekend crowd. Now, the rematch was last year's, of course, championship, which had the Water Dogs and Archers. First quarter saw the Archers jump out to a 5-1 lead on the strength of 3 from Connor Fields and 2 from Grant Ament. And Mac O'Keefe joined the party, potting 2 in the second, with the Archers jumping out to a 9-4 lead by halftime. The woes continued for the Water Dogs in the third, with Tom Strider hitting a 2-point goal from all the way in downtown Albany, followed by Trey Leclerc making 12-4, less than 4 minutes into the third. Well, what do you want, a comeback? That's what we're going to give you. A comeback you shall get. The defense tightened up, allowing nothing more on that day. 12 was it for the Archers. Soaking up shots like crazy was Dylan Ward and his defense, and Dylan Ward starting looking like the Dylan Ward of old. A little nimble, a little more agile. Matt Witcher got it all started. followed by Connor Kelly, Ethan Walker, and Michael Sowers with just an absolute bomb. It was now 12-8 heading to the fourth, and the swagger had returned. Power play goal from Connor Kelly, followed by a Jake Caraway howitzer, made it 12-10 with 9 minutes to go. Matt Witcher's second of the game brought the Dogs within one with 5 minutes to go. They just couldn't get it past Dobson. Now, if you guys remember the final from last year, Dobson made that infamous save with just a couple of seconds left. Well, he did it again. With just a few seconds left, the Water Dogs put on a flurry. Dobson came up with not one, but two big saves, and the Archers hung on for the 12-11 win. That is a heck of a way to start our season. Now, how do you follow that up, guys?
Yeah.
You have the home squad, the New York Atlas, up against the Boston Cannons. Now, everybody thought that the Cannons were going to be like as strong as they were last year, but nobody took into account the new prowess that was going to be the Atlas. And, of course, right from the word go, we had ourselves a, shall we say, the Jeff Teat show and Connor Schellenberger. But Doc Aitken, he's the one who started everything off, and he is healthy, guys. Look out, he's healthy. Connor Schellenberger with a goal. Matt Campbell with an absolute bomb tied this thing up, and then they took the lead. The Cannons did with Ryan Drenner scoring. Come back with a power play goal by Jeff Teat. You're going to hear his name a lot. He followed up with another one, and they were up ahead 4-3. Jeff Traynor tied the game up, but Reed Bowering, another big name, good to have on the squad. He gave the Atlas the lead again, followed by Teat, making it 6-4. Matt Cavanaugh came with 1 second left in the quarter, and it was 6-5 Atlas heading into the second. Asher Nolting tied the thing up, Connor Kirst and Ryan Drenner again, and it was 8-6 for the Cannons. But Xander Dixon with a natural hat trick made it 9-8 for the Atlas, headed to the half. The third quarter, this became the Jeff Teat show. Jacoby with an assist from Teat. Schellenberger with an assist from Teat. Then Marcus Holman and Matt Campbell brought it to a one-goal game again. Reed Bowering with an assist from Teat. Kobe Smith with a 2-point bomb with an assist from Teat. Then, of course, Czech Camizio. And, of course, the assist was from Jeff Teat. But then Teat got tired of assisting things, and he scored the next goal. 16-10 at this point. Connor Kirst got one back, and it was 16-11 heading into the fourth. Well, Docs Aitken, he started the game. He might as well start the fourth with a goal. 17-11. Marcus Holman got a goal. Brian Kostiuk got himself on the board. And Connor Schellenberger finished the game with his 8th point of the day, which tied a record for most points in their first appearance in the game. 19-12 was your final. A big showing from a bolstered Atlas squad. Mike, they look pretty good, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
That's a powerful squad.
Yeah.
And Tim Troutner in net is all the difference right now, because he was peppered with shots both games. And we'll get into the second game in a few minutes, but he has been peppered by shots, and he has come up huge. I think this was what he needed, and it certainly is what Atlas needed.
Yep, can't argue with that.
So moving on over to Sunday, and we had the Carolina Chaos and the Denver Outlaws. And how'd that all turn out, y'all?
Yeah, the Chaos came away with a 16-11 win, but bad news for them.
Terrible news.
All world goaltender Blaze Reardon suffered an injury. So no word on yet.
He was on the sidelines with an ice pack on his knee, which is never good.
Not good.
Yeah.
So he'll go through no more than midweek.
But, the Chaos Rally, they were down 10-9 after 3 and outscored Denver 7-1 in the fourth quarter. So
even looks like the Bandits, doesn't it? Even comes back like the Bandits.
True. Ian McKay had 3 goals. Ross Scott had a pair. Sergio Perkovic had 1 point and a 2-point goal. Jules Henningberg, Josh Byrne, Brian Minikis each had a goal and an assist. So for the Outlaws, Logan Wisnauskas, 3 goals and an assist. San Hanley had 2 goals and a 2-point goal. Brennan O'Neill, a goal and an assist in his debut for the top pick in the league. So, I think it's going to be a matter of, hey, can Outlaws put 60 minutes together? So
that's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is early, and the message when Maryland was down in the next game was it's just one game, guys, and just play your thing, one thing at a time. But just before we get on to that game, just a message from Dolan's Bar.
When you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park, right off I-95 south of the Philadelphia airport. For over 65 years, Dolan's has thrived because of one reason: the amazing people of Philadelphia. Great music, great times, memorabilia, giveaways, great drinks, and great food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through that door. You go to Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park in the 19078. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
Mike, you saw the cherry injury dog, dude. He's in sunglasses. He's incognito.
Hiding in Dolan's.
Yeah.
Just before he needed for his injury law firm.
With his protection program.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. After all the money he's made on all those ads. The Whip Snakes in the Atlas, man. Everybody was wondering this new format where a team plays twice in the weekend. How will they fare? Will they be tired? Will they be rejuvenated? Will they be full of energy if they won a day before? Well, we can answer that last one is yes, full of energy, because this particular game was all Atlas for a good chunk of it, and then it looked like they ran out of gas a little bit at the end. But they jumped out just a mammoth start. It was a 7-0 lead before Mike Chanenchuk got Maryland on the board. Dogs Aiken, Dylan Malloy with a few. Sander Dixon, of course. Trevor Baptiste with a beauty right off a face-off. Just a little explanation point onto it. The one guy who didn't score in the other game. By the way, Teed had 11 points in the other game, right? I think he had another 7 in this game. That was more than anybody on the Outlaws last year. Says something, doesn't it? Second quarter, and Jeff Teet woke up. First couple of goals were him. Then Xander Dixon with his third of the game. Zed Williams with a bomb. Now we know what he's doing while he's getting ready to be a linebacker for Buffalo Bills. Playing a little PLL on the side, right? Garrett Liedman had a howitzer 2-point goal. It was clocked at 100 miles per hour.
Oh,
I'm not getting in the way of that. If it
no.
was coming, if I was smart
No,
enough
thank
to see it even, I'd be, see you later. Wow. And at that point, it was 10-4. Maryland was making their comeback. TJ Malone scored just before the half, and it was 10-5. And this game looked attainable all of a sudden. 4 goals quickly, and, a good, strong start, and who knew? Atlas got that start, though. Ronan Jacoby and Kobe Smith with a 2-point goal, followed by Tyler Carpenter, and was 14-5. And again, it didn't look good for the Whipsnakes. However, Mike Jenenchuk with 2 2-point bombs back to back, and all of a sudden it was 14-9. TJ Malone scores 14-10. Jeff Teague gets one back, but Malone gets another one and is 15-11 heading into the fourth. Still very attainable. Zed Williams, Roman Puglisi both score. It is 15-13. It has become a game, guys. It's a one-shot game. Doc Aiken scores. Malik Sparrow scores. The defense holds up for Atlas, and 17-13 is your final. Again, another big day from Troutner in net. 14 saves, almost a 60% save ratio. It was a good day there. Jeff Teague with another 7-point game, 3 goals, 4 assists. TJ Malone, 3 goals, 3 assists for the Whipsnakes as their top scorer. Trevor Batiste, of course, doing what Trevor Batiste does best, going 20 for 27 at the dot. Big game. Atlas starts 2-0. I wasn't able to wear this jersey more than once last year. We already have it out once. Between this and the Shamrocks might be the only 2 colors you see on me always all summer. Giddy, I tell you. Giddy. All right, guys, what's your takes on the PLL opening weekend? Shawn, I'll start with you. I know you didn't get a chance to see a lot of it, but
I didn't get to see a lot of it, but man, does Atlas look good. Boy, do they look good. They're going to be tough team to beat this year. That's pretty much my takeaway from this weekend. I know it's not much, but man.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I have no qualms with the new format. I think it's just going to be a question of Aiken. Atlas has kind of set the bar, for other teams for their homecoming weekend. Like, hey, okay, if they can sweep, why not us?
Right. Gotta love the crowd too. They seem to really embrace having a home squad. And it was great hearing that defense chant that you never heard in any other place because everybody had their own allegiances to every single team.
Right.
Now with a home squad, you start getting that feel in the stadium as well. And unlike years ago where PLL put everybody on one side so it looked good for TV, and if you took pictures from the stadium, you're asking if it was an empty stadium. Now, that stadium was pretty full. In fact, there were people sitting on the grass on the sides where there were no more seats. So that's enthusiastic, I think. I really love seeing that. That means it's catching on for live, not only on TV and on social media, but it means the live events are going. So kudos for the Ravens for this idea and now for this particular venture as the next step. And we all wondered how it was going to work. I love it. And you get to see all your favorite players still, and you get a little extra bonus with the home team. So,
well, that's the great thing I think of with this new format too. Is now that you have them assigned to cities, like we're seeing Philly fans getting behind the Water Dogs. We're seeing those hometown crowds getting behind their teams now, right?
Exactly. So I think that this is a big plus. I'm looking to see how it grows throughout the year, and if there is that energy that just what we get in the NLL arenas, that kind of thing, because that's something that field lacrosse has always lacked, other than NCAA championships where you get humongous crowds. Always lacked those crowds. MLL constantly had trouble drawing people. So if they're getting big crowds now and backing teams, hey, great. And I'd be curious to see the numbers for merch sales for Atlas this week, and then whichever team down the road. And I think it's a crazy great idea, because by the time it's all said and done, the big winners, everybody.
Yep.
The players, the fans, the league, everything gets healthy. So I think it's a fantastic thing. And to boot, we're seeing some awesome, absolutely incredible lacrosse. And after watching World Lacrosse, I'm watching a number of the traditional field lacrosse things. I so love the PLL game with the shot clocks, with the different shot clocks for different things, with the different rules, with the arc, with all these things to make it more interesting and make it speedier, so that you don't have a team that's just great at throwing a ball around and hold on to it for 4 minutes, which is boring as heck to watch.
100%. And I agree with you too. That 2-point line. I mean, there's points this weekend where even though you were down 2 goals, one shot.
Well, look at that last
right
Atlas
back into it, right?
Last Atlas game was a shellacking. Throw in 3 2-point goals, and all of a sudden we're down to 15-13. It's a one-shot game, and from a team that I believe led the league in 2-point goals. So even more so to make it that much more interesting of a storyline, to keep you riveted and glued to your sets, or if you're in the stadium, that you're not leaving because it's a 12-1 game.
Right.
So to me, I love it. I loved it when it came in. And I think that, a few more tweaks here and there, and having these same guys go over things with sixes before it hits the Olympics. I think we're in for a very exciting Olympics in 2028.
Oh, yeah.
And that being it in LA and being them based out of California as well, and all their TV guys, that they're going to be dead practiced on every single angle on where to shoot when, that it'll be just absolutely cold of where to switch to which camera, what angle. It's going to be your best. And you are going to see just pristine stuff come Olympic time. And all the naysayers and all the whining of this, that, and the other. Ironically, I had Warren Hill on the show on Thursday, and we talked about sixes. And, as a goalie, my first thing would be, oh, man, I hate it. He loves it. He goes, yeah, it may not look all that interesting and kind of like baseball, but when you play it, you love it. And it's exciting. Well, when we play it, it's exciting. And it keeps going, and it's continuous. I didn't expect that exuberance from a goalie.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I was going to say the product on the field, too, once you get those guys who play both PLL and NLL, because it's the best of both worlds, right? I mean, the skill level you're going to see, because they're going to be bringing kind of that skill level of box onto a field because it's smaller, and it's just the skill is just going to be off the charts.
See, me personally, my only change that I would like to see is I would like to see that 6x6 net become a 4x4 net. You don't have to give the goalie any equipment if you don't want, but 4x4, make it a little bit more difficult. So you're not going to get 38 to 32. It might only be 18 to 14.
Yeah, that's kind of my only little beef. That's small beef, right? Is like
I love the rest of it, and I love the speed of it.
Yeah, it's just sometimes those goals can get, even though the goaltenders say it's fun, it can get a bit out of hand. Those scores.
Well, you see it at the February tournament, right? And of course, that's the one they use mostly to try different things and change different things. So, to me, I think they have another 3-4 of those tournaments ahead of the Olympics. So. I think that there's a number of things.
And I said when I bring that up, I'm just nitpicking, really.
Mm-hmm. But I'm really enthusiastic about this year's PLL season, even more than some of the other ones in past years, just with the level of play and the caliber. And it's just sky's the limit, I think, this year. Anybody can win. I say I'm giddy, of course, this week with Atlas winning too. But you know what? They have a great team, and so do a number of other guys, so in other squads. So I'm looking forward to, again, we all win. It doesn't matter what team wins. We win because we get to see some if you saw some of the goals, I was able to watch all the games this weekend. I watched a lot of lacrosse this weekend, guys. Between the live ones and the ones I caught with PLL, I caught a lot of lacrosse. And just some of the talent level and some of the skill levels that I was able to witness on both sides of the ball. It's heartwarming This game is in great hands, and it's growing, and it's getting faster, stronger at earlier ages, and the programs are there, and the bases are all there, the foundations are there, all the things that we have been killing ourselves for years to get formed are there, and now we're seeing you reap what you sow, and we're starting to see the harvests of everything that is coming and growing. It is heartwarming to see it. And it's not just in Canada, it's happening in the US as well. Because a lot of the guys who are playing field also are playing box now. It's not a divide of country to field and country to box.
And I think that's always, sorry guys, I was going to say that's really the biggest thing is just getting that box. There's always been that divide in that box versus field. Box versus field. Box doesn't want to acknowledge field. Field doesn't want to acknowledge box. If we can just blur that line.
Well, we can thank guys like Oliver Marty. We can thank guys like Joe Tsai who invest in either.
Yeah,
they invest in
100%.
both. So right there,
absolutely,
the money's coming from the same well. So play together, guys, and everybody wins.
Yep. And everybody can play nice in the sandbox.
Yep. It's like when we're talking with Michelle Boyer. In shows past. By the way, her and her global network will be on the Thursday show 2 Thursdays from now, talking about where it has come from and where it is going, and talking about She-Box. But when we're talking about her stuff here on this show, remember we were talking about if you build up the women's game, isn't that 2 wells to dig from? 2 different sets of money to so you want both to succeed. You don't want to just put your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Well, here, the same thing goes with field and box. If both succeed, everybody wins. Most of all, us the fans, because we get year-round fantastic lacrosse. Where else can I go and watch field lacrosse in my daytime and go off and watch box lacrosse that same evening? Love it. Love it.
Right.
Can't get enough of that.
It's like going back to sixes again. That's what makes it so great is because you're probably going to need box to thrive in order for sixes to thrive.
Of course, you're going to need to get players who can play that inside game, that tight squad game. And there's enough room in that field. You need the field players to also do that because you need those guys with those long pole ideas and, having those 2-point bombs. So,
100%,
it all works very, very well as a partnership. Just before we wrap up, I want to just remind everybody this part of the show is brought to you by Cherry Injury Law. No, sue me, dog, Mike. Sorry.
If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Cherry Law Firm is here to fight for you and get what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured in the state of PA by the negligence of another, and if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, please don't hesitate to call. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right. And again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are on YouTube. There will be more YouTube games coming up in the next week or so, retro games. They should be ready this week for me, so we'll get them up as soon as we can. Some really, really classic games. These things are fantastic. I have a lot of great comments and a lot of great input from people about these games and people who were at the games and remember the games. So it's been a lot of fun talking with people about that as well as players and having fun with them on some of those things. I know I was, Joe Hiltz, of course, the commissioner of Terra Series. One of the games, he's in there with the Pittsburgh Crossfire, and we're having a little back and forth with that, as well as a number of other ones. So having fun with some of the yesteryear's stuff. Plus, there's a lot of other things coming along as well. Also, please check out elpsports.com/lacrosse for all of our articles and recaps and all of our news Facebook, please come 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day because the news is always changing. Any of the moves, any of the trades, any of the injury reports, and all of the recaps are up on there as quickly as the games are over. Pretty close. Pretty close. I know I had a few this weekend up. But anyways, please check us all out. It is our privilege and duty, really, to get you all the information as quickly as we can and as reliably as we can. And we take that very, very seriously. And we appreciate your patronage week in and week out on the show as well as on the site. All Across All the Time is just past 3,600 followers. We'd like to get more. So if you know anybody who isn't following us, tell them about us. And the YouTube, we'd like to use that as another tool, as I say, week in, week out. Please, I'll tell people about it. All Across All the Time on YouTube. There is a ton of stuff up there already and more every single week coming up there. So please give that. As I say, always, we have our fingers on the pulse of the situation. We are your Costco of lacrosse. We are your one-stop shop for anything that you need, whether it be junior, whether it be senior B, senior A, whether it's field, whether it's box, whether it's PLL, NLL, any of those things, we have you covered. And I have the greatest team with me that I could possibly ask for. And I appreciate their work week in and week out. And you're not going to find a better squad than this one. So thank you, guys. We are into last words, folks. Shawn, I'll start with you.
You know what? Out west here, things are really getting exciting. Things are really heating up. I know we're only a couple weeks into Junior A and WLA, but man, you're already seeing those tight battles, and we're really looking forward to it.
Mike, how about you?
I'm 500 in PLL pick'ems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not coming from behind. I like that. I am absolutely jazzed about the first week of PLL. I am so happy with the talent that I've been watching in Ontario Series and in MSL. I think we're in for a hell of a summer that way. I'm looking forward to watching Peterborough Brampton on Thursday. I am going to try to make it out to track tomorrow because I really want to see the Oakville squad. But I definitely will be in Brampton on Thursday night for that game. So for Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw and for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. Keep your stick in your hands, and until we see you next week, have a great week.